VR is so immersive and takes you to another place. It is all around you. It's not what do you want to watch, it's where do you want to go. The conversation around VR, particularly from a business point of view, is of course how far can it grow? There's a lot of enthusiasm about creative investment in it and the kinds of storytelling, and there's challenges there. But of course the big question is, well, how many devices are out there? How big is that audience? How quick is it growing? And where is that tipping point for it becoming mass? At the moment we've got sort of 80 million devices in the market worldwide. To be considered mass, it needs to be 500 million. That's moving incredibly fast. We're now starting to see some of the networks commission VR content absolutely in parallel with the television show that goes with it. So it's the VR spin-off of the TV series, or it's the VR extension of the feature film. The conversation at C21 was all about where's the original content and where are the stories that you could tell in VR that you couldn't tell elsewhere. There was certainly a consensus about episodic storytelling in VR, and it's certainly seen as a medium, not just I think creatively and in terms of audience experience, but in simple economics, where the business model makes the most sense if you can get people to commit to coming back. What is it that makes this a returnable medium? And through that you open up business models of season passes and subscriptions to seasons and episodes over time. VR is a very intense experience. The intensity of the experience is very, very high. I think it will always demand a kind of full saturation, which might naturally speak to shorter limitations. The future is wide open. At the moment, there tends to be talk of episodic series, 5 to 6 episodes as being a bit of a sweet spot, and 10-minute or so episodes. And at least for the next couple of years, I think that will probably hold true. You really have to go into a live action VR shoot, assuming every shot is a VFX shot. The complexities are of not just shooting a 4K frame or an 8K cinema frame, but of shooting 6 times that to shoot in 6 directions at once, and then wrangling all that data. So the technical implications of shooting something in 360 are quite profound. All screen arts are a negotiation between art and commerce, but VR really feels like they're mixing very, very well, because you've got to consider the storytelling implications, the audience experience implications of physically and emotionally where they're going to go, at the same time as how that then affects the business model of how long is an episode, how many episodes to tell the story, and how you're going to distribute it. And there's kind of no medium that really integrates or demands those two things be integrated quite like VR. You're definitely seeing from a technical point of view and a creative point of view, it's Doco that's kind of leading the way on what might the role of the audience be, how might we interact with this, where could we put a 360 camera, what interesting spaces are to explore. When you can walk with David Attenborough with the dinosaurs, you're in a kind of VR nirvana that we've always wanted and just couldn't have until now. And I think narrative VR makers would do well to watch what happens in Doco, to really understand how the mechanics of VR work. And this certainly came out in the conversations around the tables at C21 is if we're going to make fiction narrative content, we certainly have to be aware of genre and form and all the dramatic lessons of the past. But if we're looking for antecedents, they're mostly going to be in the Doco space, about what you can and can't do in VR, or what really works, and where those boundaries are. It seems to be factual that's kind of setting that pace.